Menomonee Falls Public Library Board of Trustees monthly board meeting on Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. It is 6:15 and I call this to order. The Library Board of Trustees will hold a public comment period for the purpose of allowing the non-appointed public the opportunity to address the board regarding any matter that involves the library or matters over which the Library Board of Trustees has authority to take. The public comment session shall last no longer than 15 minutes, and individual presentations are limited to 3 minutes per speaker. These time limits may be extended at the discretion of the board president. Library board members shall not respond to or debate matters raised during public comments. Public comment should be addressed to the library board as a body. Any questions or comments posed to an individual member of the library board will be deemed out of order by the board president. Presentations shall not deal in personalities or personal attacks on members of the board, the applicant for any project, library employees, or residents of the village of Menomonee Falls. No campaigning for political office is allowed during the comment period. Comments, questions, and concerns shall be presented in a respectful and professional manner. Any individual violating these expectations will be deemed out of order by the board president. Would anyone like to speak? All right, no, we got a consent agenda. Items listed under consent agenda will be approved in one motion unless any board member requests that an item be removed for individual discussion. That item can then be considered at an appropriate time during the board's regular order of business or under new business. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes from the July 16th, 2025 regular board meeting and the bill approval for July 2025 in the total amount of $57,487.31.
I'll make the motion.
I can second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of approving the minutes from the July 16th, 2025 regular board meeting and bill approval for July 2025 in the total amount of $57,487.31, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's passed. Next is the committee reports. So for the policy review committee, we're actually discussing approving policy amendments tonight that we had from the last policy committee meeting. We'll meet again before our next board meeting in September at 5 o'clock, right before. Otherwise, no updates on that. Let's see. Special Events Outreach and Fundraising Committee. We are hopefully appointing a new chairperson tonight, and so we'll have some more updates on that soon. And then Finance Committee. Tom, did you want to speak on that?
There's a delay.
He might not have heard you because
There's just a little bit of a delay. He's listening to the YouTube live.
Oh, he's listening to the
Mhm.
YouTube. Gotcha.
As I say, our audio is loud.
You might have a hard time listening too if he's in the airport.
We do it together.
Do you want me to give the update? Would you? Do you
Sure,
want me-
yeah.
Sure. So we met last month, I believe. Yeah, I think it was in July. The Finance Committee met, and we had two guests. We had the village manager, Mark Fitzgerald, and the village Department of Finance Director, Val Emmerich. And they were able to join us so that we could ask them some questions about what the budget is going to look like in 2026. in particular in relation to the
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now I can hear you.
in relation to the combining funds 220 and 221, so that was great to get their feedback on that. And then also talking a little bit about some future building improvements that we're hoping to have done and the village's role in that. So that was a really helpful meeting, and we were able to really learn a lot. So that was great. And we don't have another one scheduled yet, but I would anticipate us needing to schedule one soon for some things down later on the agenda.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, those, I don't know if I'm allowed to come to Kai, those are just very good. I've enjoyed every one of them, and that last one was very informative about how you
Yeah.
could play with the village.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that time study.
Yeah.
All right, so next is new business. First up, we have discuss and consider for approval policy review committee's recommendation for amendments to policy 4.02 donations and gifts. Jackie, if you want to walk us through real quick.
Yes, absolutely. So a lot of these are standard updates for clarity's sake, so that the public and the staff have a better understanding of our donation guidelines, and then also really putting at the top of the policy monetary donations and planned giving, and emphasizing that, making it known that we do accept monetary donations and planned giving as it relates directly to the library. Of course, we have our 501c3 nonprofit, the Library Friends, who help us out very much, but we also, as the public library, are able to accept monetary donations. So highlighting those things, we made some changes to the donation of library materials portion for clarity, and just really making sure that people understand what may happen to the materials if they donate them to the library. They may not end up on our shelves, but they will certainly be put to good use elsewhere. We also clarified our donation of in-kind items, such as toys, personal property like art, antiques, that sort of thing, and just really making sure that people understand that we can't accept everything, but there are some guidelines if we do accept those. And then we created a hefty disclaimer list so that people understand that we have the right to accept or refuse any gifts, that we can't make any certain promises to people, really just a good list of things so that if there ever were to be an issue, it should be covered on this list of disclaimers.
Can I get a motion to approve the policy review committee's recommendation for amendments to policy 4.02 donations and gifts?
I'll motion.
I'll second it.
I got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Any questions on the policy? No. All right.
Appreciate the clarity made on some of those.
Mm-hmm. All those in favor of approving the amendments to policy 4.02 donations and gifts, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next is discuss and consider for approval policy review committee's recommendation for amendments to policy 4.03 Mod Shunk local history special collections management. Jackie, if you want to walk us through that one real quick.
Yes, so this is separate from our standard collection development policy because of the uniqueness of the collections that we have in the Mod Shunk local history room. So it goes through the variety of formats of items that we have in the room. You can see that we struck out quite a bit of detailed information regarding certain sub-collections within those, just because things change very frequently and we didn't want to be held to such strict guidelines, especially as formats change, as we continue to digitize certain formats. So that was taken out. And then when we first created this policy, it really encompassed more information about the Mod Shunk local history room in itself. Those have since been covered in other policies, such as code of conduct. So we took that out because it is pretty duplicated in other policies and really unnecessary in a collection development policy. The only other things that were taken out were we really just removed certain things for clarity or moved them around in the policy.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the Policy Review Committee's recommendation for amendments to Policy 4.03, Mod Chunk Local History, Special Collections Management?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? All right. All in favor of approving the amendments to Policy 4.03, Mod Chunk Local History, Special Collections Management, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion is passed. Next we have discuss and consider for approval President Barker's appointment of Scott Habeger as Chair of the Special Projects Fundraising and Outreach Committee.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it.
All right, I got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I do have a question.
Sure. Well, first, do you accept the appointment?
I do.
Okay,
I do.
good.
I wonder, is there a charter or policy that defines the work of that?
We have something, don't we?
We have brief description from when we created the committees, but we haven't formally developed anything as a committee, like we have in the finance committee. So that would be something that hopefully you would be able to take the lead on, and we can get something kind of in writing in terms of what the scope of that committee is.
Okay,
Yep.
good.
All right. Any other questions? All in favor of approving the appointment of Scott Habeger to Chair of the Special Projects Fundraising and Outreach Committee, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Next, we have discuss and consider for approval President Barker's appointment of Scott Habeger as Library Friends Liaison.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? Do you accept the appointment?
I do.
All right. All in favor of approving the appointment of Scott Habeger as Library Friends Liaison, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passed. Then we have discuss and consider for approval President Barker's appointment of Michael Dybix to the Policy Review Committee, although he's not here, so I'm gonna ask for a motion to table until he is here to accept it.
Motion to table.
Seconded.
All right.
I don't know.
All in favor of tabling the appointment of Michael Dybix to the Policy Review Committee, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Motion passed.
Yeah.
Then we got Trustee Education, Chapter 10, Developing Essential Library Policies.
All right. So chapter 10, I think it was actually supposed to be chapter 11,
That's right.
planning for the library's
Oh, yeah, it
future.
is.
So this talks about strategic planning, and as you know, our current strategic plan runs from 2023 to 2027. So we are going to be starting the strategic planning process relatively soon, most likely at the beginning of the year in 2027. So last time we were able to do, it was COVID era and we did it without a consultant. I think it was a great process. I think we could likely do that again to save some money. It's usually between like $10,000 to $15,000 to have a consultant come in and do it. So I'm all in favor of saving money. So it's going to look like getting some community members and village board members, library board members, members of the Friends, and staff involved in creating a committee, and then really working through those things, usually all the way through October, and then in October of 2027, it would be approved. So I think we have a really great foundation with the plan that we have in place now. It's working really well for our needs. So it'll be interesting to see what the committee comes up with in terms of the wishes for the future of the library in this next round. It's coming up fast.
Yeah.
5 years goes by very fast, so I'm looking forward to it. It's always a really exciting and invigorating time to be able to talk to community members and get their feedback.
What was that time frame of the current plan?
23 through 27
Okay.
Yep, so we'll start getting the committee together.
in January of 2027, most
Okay.
likely.
So we'll start planning.
Because it's
for
good
that.
through June, more or
It's-
less of 2027?
October.
October, okay. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we have almost the entire year to get it perfect.
Can I ask a question about that? So is there, like, is that sort of in-kind service something that the library could accept if there are people within our community that are part of the not a library necessarily, part of our community that do help coordinate strategic planning? Because it can be quite a coordinating nightmare, and if there are people who, I don't know if we can accept that kind of in-kind donation
I
or
think
not.
it would, yeah. I-
Volunteers.
Yeah, I think they would be a great person to have either on the committee, or if they're willing to coordinate it and help us with that as an advisory role, that would be wonderful. We were really lucky the last time that we did this. One of our library board members, she actually does strategic planning for her career, so that was a great assistance
Yeah, that's
to
good.
have. So that worked out really well, but certainly if someone would be interested in consulting and helping us, that would be great. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
Yeah.
Got time to look, see what we can find.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, any other questions? All right, moving along, we have the library board president's report. So actually on Sunday, I got the honor of representing the library at the official chartering ceremony of the Perpetual Roses of Wisconsin's brand new chapter of Alpha Kappa Alpha that will be serving this area. They do a lot of community outreach and programs, especially for children. So they always have their meetings here, which I found out that was the reason that we got an invitation to go, but I was happy to accept and be the voice of the library while I was there. So the food was delicious, the atmosphere was beautiful.
Yeah.
You can see this
Oh,
was
wow.
like
Looks like a
the
wedding.
tables. Yeah, I mean it was beautiful. And then we got a special visitor, Slim from 112, which I was like, wait, who is that? And then they started singing, and I was like, oh, he was like an R&B artist from the like 90s and early 2000s.
How fun.
That
Very
was really
cool.
fun. It was really cool. So I was glad I got to go to that. I'm gonna pass around the couple things that I got from there if you guys want to take a look at it. Then I think I got one email like all month basically, and it was just a request about classic books. Somebody actually requesting that we just put them in like a section all of their own, or do like a special display of classic books, and I thought that was a really great idea. I have kids myself that love to read some of the classics, so
Yeah, I responded to the patron today with some ideas of what we could do, and I invited the teenage patron to do a guest librarian display of some of her favorite classics. So I'm hoping that we can make that
That's
work.
cool.
But yeah, I'm really excited to hear their feedback, and they had great things to say about the children's refresh and all that great stuff. So yeah, it's wonderful that young people are interested in reading the classics these days. That's really cool. So I'm hoping that we can collaborate and do some interesting things together.
definitely.
I think that goes beyond young people.
Yeah.
Oh, it does. This one
but-
just happened to be about her
Yeah, yeah.
teenage daughter.
No, I
so
thought it was great. That was a great letter.
yes.
But I was, is there a real definition of what the classics are?
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering.
The great
That's-
books.
And
I don't
that's
know.
the difficulty in having a separate section just for the classics, because, you know, I could say, oh, that's a classic, and you could say, absolutely not. You know what I mean? It is very up to who you're talking to. So, and it's very difficult for us to separate them out, because there's something special about being able to see, you know, if one author has a very popular book that's an instant classic, you know, but then you you put that in its own section, then you're not able to see the author's other works when you're browsing too, that maybe are lesser known but still really excellent. So we're likely not going to do like a classics section, but we do have some tools that I'm looking forward to implementing that will make it easier for people to find those classics within the library, especially using our new catalog that's going to be released in September. We have an ability to create lists that we could link to with a QR code, so you could pull up the list of all of the classics that we have here in the library and be able to browse the shelves in alphabetical order with that. But just featuring them more, I think, would be great too. So.
I think it's because I've heard adults and know some like who have retired and said they're going to start reading, and they say, I want to go out and read some of the classics.
I've heard that too
Now,
from patrons, yes, absolutely.
It's not always successful though, because they like grab Moby Dick and then start reading it and go, oh, this is not what I thought.
Maybe they could say the classic starts.
Yeah.
It's interesting what AI says about the classics. Don Quixote, good book.
Yeah.
Huck Finn.
Well, there is something called a
It-
great books list.
There's Project Hail Mary, which is a good book, but I liked it. It's interesting
Yeah.
because it's the follow-up to The Martian,
Yeah.
right? And
I like your idea of maybe not necessarily
Great
a section.
Expectations.
But just
Banjo.
having it easier for, because
Yeah.
most of our classics are in adult fiction because they really are geared towards adults. Are an adult fiction book, even though they appeal to a wide variety of ages. And it would be difficult to create an entire section, like in the teen area, for instance, with just classics that maybe will appeal to teens. Obviously, from a budgetary standpoint, we'd have to duplicate the collection, which is not always the most fiscally responsible. But I think we have some great ways with technology to be able to highlight those and make them really more user-friendly in terms of being able to find those books hidden amongst the other ones, especially because some are in nonfiction.
Yeah.
So making it easier for people to find those.
Right.
I think just in looking at what I'm looking at right now is they have different types of classics.
Yeah.
Like you can do several different links. Like there's classics like Great Expectations, Tom Sawyer, Treasure Island, but then there's classics like Project Hail Mary. That's along a different genre of classics.
Right.
Yeah.
That I mean, Martian was a great book, and actually Project Hail Mary was a great book, in my opinion. But would I say that it's the same as Great Expectations? I think it's a different
Right.
kind of genre
Yeah.
of great books. But in that same thing, Tom Sawyer, okay, Art of War, it's pretty deep but good book. Othello, that's Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah.
And I
So
think your point leads to as well is like maybe having some curated lists. If you like classics in this genre, here's
Right.
a great
Yeah.
list, and here's how
Yeah.
to find them here in this
Yeah, that
classic.
makes it easier too.
Like
to
Romeo
just
and
make
Juliet.
lists.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the new catalog really allows us to have a lot more creative authority with these sorts of things, where we could have a carousel on our website with books in those lists, and you can just click on them and you get directed right to the catalog, and you know exactly where to find them in the library.
You,
So.
you know what I
That's
think
cool.
that's
Yeah.
interesting about this discussion is I just saw one here. It's from Herman Melville, who also did Moby Dick, obviously.
Yeah.
But this one is one that I wasn't aware of. It's called The Story of Wall Street.
Okay.
And I'm not familiar with that book.
Is it a nonfiction?
I don't know.
Oh, it
but
doesn't say.
It's listed here, and I'm sitting here like, well, I might read that just because I like the author. I know the author.
Yeah.
So that's like an extension too. Like people that wrote classics and then they have other books.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because one ended up a classic doesn't mean all their other books aren't good. They're just not as well known, right?
Right.
The Count of Monte Cristo. Yeah, I've read that. That's good.
I read that in high school.
It's great to have the patron feedback. Keep it coming. We
Yes.
really appreciate knowing what makes the most sense for them in terms of the user experience. So that was great.
Yes,
sure.
exactly. All right, so then I got the library director's reports.
Yes, so starting with the hot topic, luckily we had very minimal water damage to the building with the torrential rain and flooding. We had some minor roof leaks, nothing unexpected, in the typical areas that we get the leaks with a lot of rain, much less than we've had before. So the roof repairs last year really helped, thank goodness. We did have some small water damage to some of the new carpeting in the children's library, but it's a very small area, so we're going to get that remedied. Unfortunately, with the way that the area is outside, the water does just come in, so we're going to be talking to Public Works to see if there's anything that they can do about that. We have the new furniture, which is wonderful, in the community room. So far, it's been nothing but positive feedback from patrons who've used it during programming. It's going to save a lot of staff time when we're setting up for programs, because the tables are so much easier to set up, and the chairs, so that's wonderful. We're really grateful for that. And I can run right into my statistics. It was...
Well, before you do that, I just want to give props to the library, to you, for being a location for the community during a tough time. I know there's a lot of extra, you have a lot of, more people were here
Yes.
than in previous days, and it was a great location. You guys did a great job of being accessible and available to the community during a tough time, and you continue to be for me even, so thank you for that and for all that assistance. It was really appreciated by many.
Definitely.
Thank you.
And it still is,
Yes.
because there's still people that
Yes.
need to cool down a little bit.
Yeah.
or-
Plug in their phones,
Yeah.
charge their phones, get the kids here so that they can...
They're not going stir crazy.
Yeah.
There's some pretty high stress out there right now in
Yeah.
certain places, and you and your staff have done a great job of being a centering place to help alleviate those stresses. So thank you, and thank your staff for that.
Thank you. I will definitely pass that along. The staff have been doing a great job, and we're so lucky that we didn't lose power so that we could be open and fully functioning for the patrons. So that was
Absolutely.
very,
Was
very
that
good.
just sheer luck, or did our generators kick in?
Our generators did not need to
Didn't
kick
kick
in.
in?
No, we didn't lose power.
Yeah,
So.
we were fine here. The line
Right,
was
yeah.
south of the high school.
Yeah, I didn't lose power either, and thankfully everybody, here has been, for the most part, safe and not too much, but yeah, just thankful.
Mhm.
Thankful that you guys are a resource for the community to not only come to read and
Right.
have programming, but also to be there when the community is in need.
Yeah, that's what we're here for.
Yes.
So statistics-wise, July wasn't a great month. We got close to, we finished our summer library program. It was wonderful. Circulation, both physical and digital, is on the rise, looking really, really good. Libby continues to grow substantially with our digital circulation. You will be seeing a public announcement tomorrow about Hoopla. So all member libraries within the Bridges library system came to a consensus that we are actually going to be ceasing Hoopla throughout the end of the year because of the exponential rise in costs and us continually going over budget each month with Hoopla. So that is going to be, we're going to have a press release and article go out tomorrow with some FAQs, but our Hoopla service will be ceasing in October of this year because that's when our contract is up. So it will be ceasing early. We understand that that's obviously a huge upset to a lot of people who really love Hoopla. However, the library system has done a lot to put additional funding in the collection on Overdrive and increasing the Lucky Day collection on Overdrive so that you get that feeling of Hoopla with the on-demand, no waiting titles of really popular items. And they, throughout the years, plan on continuing to grow that Lucky Day collection on Overdrive so that you get that similar experience, but we're not facing these unexpected and unplanned for expenses each month, because you never know how much you're going to be paying each month because it's pay per circulation.
So Overdrive, we're still gonna have digital books, it's
Yes.
just gonna be via Overdrive.
Correct.
So the community can still get digital books.
Absolutely.
They're just gonna be accessing it through the one portal.
Correct.
Instead of the one that costs an exorbitant amount of money.
Right, and we're putting additional funds, the library system is putting additional funds towards
Overdrive.
Overdrive, and that's where we're putting our e-content funds.
Sounds reasonable.
So far this year, we've signed up over 1,700 people for new library cards, and we have,
Ooh, how does that compare to previous years?
it's going up. So in 2023, we had 1,500 in July, and now we're at 1,700. So it's increasing substantially. We also have an increase in visitors. So in 2023, January through July, we had 91,000 visitors. This year, 103,000. So the amount of people coming in our building is increasing, which is wonderful to see.
Is that at all related to the growth of the community in general?
Probably.
Certainly, yeah. I think
Just
it's
seeing all
certainly.
these developments out there, and
Yeah, it would be expected that the more people who live in our community, the more people use the library, which is awesome.
We hope, yeah.
So we love to see that. And we've gotten some great feedback from people recently who just moved into the community, who were very excited and pleased about their first visit to the library, so that's great. In terms of a coffee shop update, so,
Well, could I ask a question?
yes.
I was just trying to understand, on the technology resources computers, does that mean people logging into the computer?
Yep.
Going online, or?
Every single time that someone uses their library card to get on
To
one
get-
of our
okay,
computers,
okay.
yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's actually gone up a lot.
Yes, it's growing quite a bit. So as we continue to look at our computers that we have available, start thinking forward about maybe the laptop lending kiosk, keeping all these increase in computer uses in mind is something we're really keeping an eye on moving forward.
And can you tell me what all is bundled under programs? Like you have 531 programs, that,
So that any sort of program that we have here at the library, such as story times, programs for adults, things like that, it also includes like the one-on-one tech help sessions that we schedule with people, as well as if we were to do outreach at a nursing home or assisted living facility, that would count as a program that we provide.
okay, good.
Do you ever do outreach outside of Menomonee Falls? Like,
We occasionally do. We don't have a lot of people reaching out to us from areas outside of the falls, because most of our users are from
I was
Menomonee
thinking
Falls.
of like, isn't it like Jackson and stuff that doesn't have a library that is pretty close?
Yeah, so any Washington County community, usually in that area, is usually either covered with outreach by Germantown Community Library or the Hartford Library. So we stick in Waukesha County for the most part. Really, the neighborhoods that we would do outreach for are Lisbon and Lannon,
Okay.
but we haven't done a lot of that in recent years, so it's something that we're open to, certainly. In terms of a coffee shop update, so after last month's meeting, they installed their electronic sign right when you walk in by that first pillar. And then just today before the meeting, I worked with Daniel and Amber, and they installed their online ordering kiosk on the first floor. So as you walk in towards the children's library, there's now a ordering kiosk where you can place your order, pay with your credit card, and then you get a receipt, and then you can run upstairs and get your coffee or your pastry. It's great for people who are busy or in a hurry. Maybe they have something they want to do down here, and then just have it ready for them when they go upstairs. So I'm curious to see how that's going to take off, and I asked them to keep me updated with statistics on that and how many orders they're getting. So just another way to try to bring the first floor patrons up onto the second floor, as Daniel mentioned at the last meeting. So we'll see how that
and
goes.
that's, yeah, anyway.
I did notice sales went up substantially.
Yes, we did have an increase in July, which was great.
Yes.
Oh,
I'm just thinking like when my wife had 3 kids running around her in the library section, there's no way she's gonna run upstairs and go get a copy, but she can pre-order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, make it a little
So
bit
kinda-
easier.
Yes, a neat,
Yeah.
a neat convenience.
Yes.
Cool.
statistics.
In terms of the facilities maintenance plan update, we talked a little bit at the last finance committee about this, but I still haven't gotten any response from the village on whether or not that is going to be put in motion. It's been a couple months since we talked about this, so I haven't heard anything yet. This was supposed to be tied into the police department updates in terms of doing an audit of all of our mechanicals, HVAC, all that, and I haven't heard anything yet. I've reached out, but I can reach out again. And then the last thing that I was hoping to talk about is some preliminary proposals for building updates to the first floor. So we, as you know, we've been working with Growth Design Group because we received a grant of $5,000 to get some plans drawn up for updates to the first floor. And I'm not going to go into too much detail about the plans themselves, but essentially what we're looking at is updating the flooring, updating the wall coverings, putting in some new, updating our like countertops and things like that in the staff areas, making the public copy area on the first floor a little bit more accessible. Some new lighting for the first floor that's a little bit more, well, it's a lot brighter, but then it's also a lot better. Just, I mean, it's going to be 22 years newer, so we're going to have a lot. Hopefully, our electric bill would go down with that. A little bit of casework, and then putting in some screens, some electronic signs in the lobby so that we could cut down on paper and have a lot of our flyers for programs and events just on those. There's some new carpeting, some new lighting possibilities, updating our acoustic panels, just to be a little bit more up to date and hopefully have a better quality. And then a very scant amount of new furnishings for the lobby and the boardroom. So that proposal was put together, and then I received the preliminary estimate numbers for the project, and honestly I didn't know what it was going to be like. I had no idea. So all in, including a $70,000 contingency, we're looking at $790,000 at this point. The village has committed in general to paying for updates to this building's wall coverings and flooring. So that would be $235,000 that the village would have to contribute. Everything that we would have to contribute, which would be things like furniture, signage, as well as our contingency, and then any general updates such as creating the safety door for secure staff area behind the circulation desk. That would be without our contingency, $383,000. With the contingency, presuming that we maybe would have some additional work that could need to be done during the project, that would be $455,000. The question that I have now, and I'm hoping to meet with the village manager and Tom Hoffman, Director of Engineering and Development, is who's responsible for new lighting in this building, new light fixtures. And that's $100,000. So that's really my next question that we need to hammer out, is who's responsible for paying for that portion. And once I get that answer, I'd like to come back to probably the finance committee so that we can take a look at our fund balances and sources of payment for these projects to see if this is something that we would be able to complete starting in January of 2026. So this is coming up very quickly. After speaking with the village manager, he was very adamant that this work needed to be started and hopefully completed before they begin work on the police department expansion, so that
That's March and April, though.
yes, so this shouldn't be, they're expecting this to go pretty fast in terms of the things that could congest the parking lot. You know, trucks, things like that, carpet trucks. So I'm hopeful that we're gonna be able to make this work, but I definitely need a few more numbers from the village finance department to be able to bring to the finance committee so that we can talk this through and see if they believe this is something
Do
feasible.
we have the dollars for all this?
I don't have the updated fund balance totals from the village. I'm still awaiting those, but I do believe that we would be able to fund this.
Sounds good.
Did you get any answers about grants for the security?
Yes.
Because the lighting would be part of the enhanced security, right?
Yeah, but I don't think that the grant that's available wouldn't cover that. It would cover like the door, the new secure door, but the lighting is quite an investment, and I don't think that the grant that we spoke about at the finance committee would cover that. So I'm curious to see how, I'm going to set up a meeting hopefully once they have a things settle down with obviously the flooding, and then we can talk about that. But this is coming up so very quickly. I also and I haven't heard back yet from the village manager about the timing between the time that the village approves the 2026 budget, which is usually late November, and the quick turnaround where this project would start January 1st. So how that could possibly work. So I'm hoping to get some answers on that, because that's such a quick turnaround in terms of having contractors ready to go, already on the schedule, things like that. So,
Well, I can only recommend that if this is, because having sit through and understanding our budget and the cuts we had to make and everything where we needed to balance stuff based on what the village told us, I don't know where you're gonna get $500,000 from, and so I would say prior to us having this discussion, I think it would be very important to do a lot of homework for our finance committee so we can see where we think this money can be drawn from.
yes.
I'm not saying it's not there, I don't see it in my head, but you've got a plan, so come with the homework for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because it's quick.
Yeah.
We're gonna, otherwise we gotta wait till they're done with the police station if we don't get it up and running,
Right.
and that's so.
Right, that would be probably quite a while.
year and a
Correct.
half, probably.
Correct. Plus, we want to get this project done
Quicker.
during a
Quicker.
slower
They'll be
season.
up
So
in
obviously, we're not going to be
July
doing a renovation to the busiest area of the library during the summer library program. So
It's gonna be some
it's a very delicate balancing act and delicate scheduling. So I will have more information. I'd love to talk to the finance committee. I think it's a good starting point to kind of hash through the details, the fund balance, have some more reports on that, and then see to ensure that we'll have the funding.
I mean, if they had, this has to be done so that they can get started on that in April, if they're giving us the numbers, delays our ability to do that, doesn't sound, I mean, we may have to postpone it till the end of next year, but if they're not going to get back to you in a reasonable fashion.
And that works too.
Yeah.
That works too. We could certainly push it to the end of the year, just like we did the children's refresh. That gives us so many more guarantees with knowing what the budget approval is going to be like in November.
Yeah.
We're flexible. As long as we can get the project done, we'll work around whatever needs to be done. And that's all I had.
All right. Next would be the village trustees report. However, Ann had an emergency village board meeting, so she's unable to be here tonight. So we'll move on to the school district report. Mr. Munoz?
Oh, yeah, several different things. The state budget is settled, which is good for everybody. So I had a summary for the board from the DPI of the 25-27 state budget. long and short of it, school districts are getting quite a bit more money for special education reimbursement, substantially more money, which is good, but there wasn't more money into the general pot. So in all things being said, there were some good things and there were some things that could have been better, but overall, we're in a good spot, I believe, as a state and a district that way. The next thing, we had some minor flooding damage, just like a lot of people around here in a few of our buildings, but most of our facilities had little, if any, damage, actually. So our building ground staff did a great job. We had some outside contractors, and we have a plan to complete restoration of a few areas that were affected. Lower area at the high school was a little bit affected. We've had people in there. Some parts of the Riverside gym floor on one side, and that was actually due to the second day of just a blocked drain with needles and things flowed into a door. So we're working on all that. We have a plan in place, and we're in a good spot. That being said, I know in the community, I just want everybody to know that our thoughts go out with everybody that endured this natural disaster, and those of us that have been through it. It is a natural disaster. Some places are much worse than others. It can be a difficult and an uncertain time, and we just want to offer our support as a school district. I know the library has done a great job with that. I'm thankful to live in this village, to have a lot of wonderful people around that are just willing to help each other and me and my family and others that needed help. So I saw that firsthand, and I think it was just great. It's not great to have disaster, but it was great to see the goodness in the village. As a school district, let us know how we can support. Anybody that needs assistance, reach out, ask for help. A lot of people do, and that's great. There's a lot of organizations and smaller groups that want to help, including the school district. The rest of the report is the back to school fair. Actually today, they just wrapped up 2 minutes ago. So we went today from about 2 o'clock till 7 o'clock. It was the first day of the back to school fair. So we have all the school's students come through the grade gym at the high school. So all of the buildings are representatives. We have school organizations, outside organizations like the library. So there's thousands of people there that run through. So it's wonderful. Tonight was extra busy because the football has their whole big start of year sort of things. There's a lot of events out there tonight if you drive by. Tomorrow we have back to school fair again. So anybody who's missed today, we still have a lot of people signed up for tomorrow. So tomorrow it's from 9 to noon, and then 3 to 6. Sorry, I'm just double checking my note there. Pretty sure it's 3 to 6, but I will double check that. And my digital notes, which I'm using, which will help me a little bit here, go quicker. So yeah, tomorrow there are a couple of different sections, and it's all on the website. We have a back to school. We have actually a new website. That's an update. We have a new district website that we rolled out a few days ago. Everything's going really well. The second day of the back to school fair, once I click this, is tomorrow from 9 a.m. to noon. So August 14th, 9 a.m. to noon, and then also 3 to 6. So we have another full day tomorrow to get everybody else through. So if you haven't signed up, that's perfectly fine. Just show up, or you can sign up. There's links online at the back to school fair link on the website. So we're excited to see everybody. Saw a lot of students. And one student even called me Mr. David, which is great. Remembered me. So it's now in my third year, so I'm getting to know a lot of students and obviously families as well. Thank you to the public library again on August 25th. The public library is holding a school bus story time, which is really great. Thank you for doing that. And that's Monday, August 25th from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. Target age is 4 to 7, but anybody's welcome, so thanks for doing that. We put that note out there for our community as well, so thank you. Like I had mentioned, the new website is up and running, so it's the same link. So when you click that, you're going to see a lot cleaner page, very similar to a lot of the pages around here, like Brookfield, that have the old hamburger menu on one side. So we're all excited about it. We have a new webmaster position really pushing on making the website more user-friendly. One common way for elementary parents, we'll be using Class Dojo for all of our elementary parents, so they have one way to be communicating back and forth with teachers in the school. So that was a strategic plan piece and a big piece that we were looking to roll out. We have new staff starting next week, so we're excited about that. So August 19th, we have new staff welcome day on the 19th, so we have all the new staff in. Actually, they start on the 18th, some of them, then the 19th. So we have a busy week starting next week with new staff. So we'll have about 30 new teachers. So we have about 310 teachers-ish in the district. We have about 30 new ones, not all new to teaching, but new to the district. And then we have all the stack on the 25th. So we're excited about that, August 25th. So on the 26th, we'll have a convocation with the entire staff, and we have a speaker coming in on cybersecurity and cyber safety. His name is Dr. Justin Patchen. So he's from UW-Eau Claire. I've had him work with my staffs before in years past. He really does a great job of highlighting security in the digital age and really looking at, we just had a big cyber incident in the district, if those that remember. So it's kind of sitting a little close to my heart right now. He does a great job of looking at that end of things as well, like cybersecurity from a lot of different perspectives. We're excited to start the school year. Last update, the Community Ed and Rec in Riverside project is going really well. There was no effect with the storm, thankfully. There's a new build at Riverside. We've expanded Riverside. Those portions will go online next week. So the Riverside portion will be ready to go next week. The new gym at CE and Rec will be, the walls and roof will be going up in the next 2 weeks. So you'll see major changes at Community Ed and Rec. For those that need a reminder, the Community Ed and Rec program is actually a department of the school district. So we fully fund and operate CE and Rec, which is a great community service and community outreach. We're building a new gym for them, so they have their own gym separate from Riverside. Okay, so that's exciting. Those walls and roofs are going up this next 2 weeks, along with several other rooms and aspects of the community center. But a good portion of the community center will also open in 3 weeks, because all of that work is done already too. So we're excited about the things going on in the school district. Our annual meeting's coming up September 8th. We have a balanced budget. We're in a good spot that way as well. More to come with the annual meeting.
All right. Next is the Library Friends reports.
So the Friends didn't have a meeting in July, and their August meeting is also, they're not meeting in August either, but they did attend Kids Fest and had a booth at Kids Fest, which was wonderful. So they gave out cookies to the kids and were able to talk to the community about all the things they do for the library. So that was really the big news about the Friends. So I will be inviting Scott to the next meeting, and we'll get you part of the crew. So we're looking forward to it.
Awesome. So our next meeting will be Wednesday, September 17th, 2025 at 6 p.m. and we are adjourned.